Right. Let me get nice and comfortable here. Perfect. Yep. There we go. Right, we're back. This is episode number 2. The light's a bit bad, so I don't know whether I want to wear the glasses or not. I've been struggling to sleep. But we're using actually the back-facing camera this time instead of selfie mode, so probably a bit more clear, a bit better. So, hopefully the sound's a bit better as well. But this is episode. I'm gonna be like, this perfect. There we go. This is episode number 2 of the Move to Marbs series. Hopefully I don't forget now next week. We have a mastermind, so probably won't be that bad. But again, this is your first time. It's only been one, but this is kind of just documenting the journey, the move, how everything's looking, kind of a weekly recap. The whole point of this is really just for myself to look back in like 4 or 5 years and just be like, fuck, look where I started, look where I came from, and let's go from here. But I think we'll ditch these. Yeah, we'll ditch these. Again, second week in a row here at my cup of tea. It's about 11:30 Spanish time. So what kind of happened this week? What went right? What went wrong? Met Curtis Jones today. First ever Liverpool player to me. That was sick. There's actually a dead body on the run as well, which is really weird. But I won't get into the bad side of things. I'll only talk good here. So let's bring it back then to Monday and all the way through the week. It actually was a really good week, I have to say. As far as I'm concerned, again, I'm going to say it like last week, I feel like this is like everybody in business, regardless of if you're at fucking 200 quid a month or 200k a month. Nobody's ever going to be happy in the current position that they're in, and that's something that we definitely feel like as well. We can definitely improve and have more revenue in the bank. But we're investing literally every cent that we have into ourselves. Obviously, this is still being shot in an iPhone, hopefully by 3 or 4 weeks' time, when I win the lotto, or when we get that like €1,000,000 that we're promised from all our clients. I'll get an Osmo. We can start shooting it proper style. I want to get an Osmo, but for the time being, we're still struggling in the ends. So there's that. But it feels weird because we're in the same position, but this is like the first time in a long time I genuinely feel like we're on the right trajectory. There's 2 things I want to focus on, I think, today. It's shifting mindset, and it's a change, trusting a good feeling. I think that's the 2 key pillars of this video today, because this is the first time in a long time where I've genuinely felt like we're on the right path and we're about to actually fucking blow and make something really special out of this. And I think it comes down to 2 things, like I just said there: shifting mindset and following a gut instinct. Now, I don't know who watches this or what level of person, how you know me personally, or what the level is there. But I was always very hard on myself growing up. I was always the fat kid. I was always the one who was kind of like the butt of the jokes, all that sort of stuff. Always kind of self-doubt, self-deprecation. I worried about what people thought, hence why I didn't make videos like this, even though I think I've always been decent at them. Always kind of had that, like, wouldn't say victim mindset, but like, oh sure, tis just me, we'll leave it off. I'll be afraid of what someone would think. And the past 2 weeks, I've really focused on completely changing that and having a completely different paradigm, a different shift, a different worldview on everything, because I think there's an a lot of negativity out there, and it's actually so bad because people are just in an escaping reality sort of lifestyle instead of actually living their own life that they've always wanted to. So I think that's one of the biggest things that's kind of been this week, is that. And well, actually, I'll get a bit closer to this for this one. But what you see to be true is not always as it seems. I'm going to completely butcher this now from Sam Ovens, but what you perceive to be true will become true because you believe it to be true. And I'm looking at a camera here right now. If I was to leave the room, normal physics would say that this camera would still be here. But if I was to just be at our front door here, which is 20 meters away from this, and not be able to see the camera, just think to yourself and ask yourself this question and answer this for me. If you left a room, would that camera still be here? Normal physics would say yes. Quantum physics would say no, because you have to actually see it. There has to be you have to see the particles for it to be true. So this is one thing that I'm learning and one thing that I'm building on as well. And it's just come to show that my confidence is taking a whole new turn, and it's just taking the views of things and putting it into my new worldview, my new paradigm has really helped to hone in on what I want and everything else in between. And I just think that new level of confidence, that mindset, that belief, I genuinely I feel extremely happy right now, which is great. Probably for the first time in a while, because there's a bit of self-doubt for the past couple of months, and I know everyone experiences that. I know I've watched Joe's videos similar to these, he feels the same. But it's just about how you overcome them, which is the most important thing, and you go through them in business. The bigger you grow, the bigger your problems get. Like, we have such small problems. Like, you talk to people and they'd say, oh, I can't do XYZ, and it's like, well, there's somebody literally dead, or there's somebody starving, or we're literally just a drop in the ocean. But I don't want to get into that too much. So that's kind of the shift in mindset that's really helped, and I genuinely feel like we're on the right track and we're about to actually explode and have something fantastic, and that comes into trusting a gut feeling. And I have a big problem with the online space, that people feel like they need to do something before they progress into something new. So this would be hard for some people to understand, but in the online advertising and marketing space, people say that you have to start with local service businesses. You have to start there. You have to build up your skill sets, your knowledge. It's low-hanging fruits. It's easy leverage. And then you move up into info, you move into e-com, you move into working with higher leverage activities and higher level companies, or you start to, let's say, diversify your portfolio into different things. And I have a big bone to pick with that, because, and Liam has said it as well, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on this, why, if you're not optimizing for the long run, then what the fuck are you doing in business? Because so many people are focused on the short term. All they care about is revenue. All they care about, like, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is where you actually see business. That's actual business, is cash flow. And once you see that and understand that, and once you're open to that, not everything is as it seems, and there's a lot of bullshit out there, and it's dangerous to listen to. It's extremely dangerous, because it can get you into a really bad hole and a bad rut, and you're not playing a game against somebody else. In life, it's you versus you, and that's literally it, is you overcoming you every single day, and all you have to do is wake up and attack each day. And if you can win every single day, then you're going to compound, and you're going to win the year, you're going to win the decade. And following a gut instinct, again, back to my core, is I love working with the current clients that we have. We have been blessed that we have had such fantastic clients to work with. But that was never our intention. That was never our long-term plan. We were following short-term gratification. We were following the route that we thought we were supposed to take, and following the road less traveled. I think it's a Robert Frost, or whoever it was, someone six year, I don't remember his name. There's a really good poem that I always liked, and it was talking about that. It was like, if you actually travel the road, if you travel on the path that's less traveled and less trodden on, it's going to take longer, but the fruits of your labor will pay off, and you will grow 10 times more than somebody. And that's not just in business, that's just in life in general. So moving into this whole info space, everything else in between, it feels like we're starting fresh, but it's not. Because the only reason that it feels like we're starting fresh is the way that we do outreach completely changes. The old system isn't completely finished. It's trying to attack new ways of doing things. It's doing more content. It's putting yourself out there, doing more business, real business, networking, partnerships, doing a good job and getting referrals as well is super important as well in that space. So it's like a new business model, but I'm really enjoying it, genuinely. I like doing all this sort of stuff, and it's nice to do it. So there's that. So that's kind of like the two overarching themes of this. And one of my favorite podcasts is Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson and Matthew McConaughey. I think it's like episode 1959, I think it is. I could be completely wrong here. But in that video, Matthew McConaughey literally talks about how he wanted to drop out, didn't want to become a lawyer. He wanted to become an actor. And he said it to his parents. He was like, I'm going to become an actor. And it was the way that he said it. He thought that his parents would be like, no, you have to go to college. But his father was like, don't half-ass it. And that's probably the biggest thing that I think of on a daily basis. Like, don't half-ass it. There were days this week, maybe Wednesday and Thursday, where I genuinely just lacked energy. And the biggest thing is like just showing up on the days you don't want to show up and just doing, I wouldn't say the bare minimum, but doing what you need to do to get done. That's going to move the needle forward. That's the most important thing. So, like, I'm not saying I'm perfect every single day. Nobody's perfect, but it's just showing up when you need to show up on the days you don't want to show up. That's when it really counts. So there's that. But where was I leading with that? There was a third thing I was going to say, but I'm after completely forgetting it. But yeah, I suppose there's no point in kind of pushing the boat out any further. I think this week has been really good. A lot more content being pushed out. Oh yeah, moving away from home, the importance of it. I'm literally going to spin this to like 30 seconds because I could talk for 20 minutes on this. The importance of moving away from home and getting out of your comfort zone, moving over to a new area and having the confidence to do that has a real good reflection on you as a human being. You open up more, you're more open to other people's values, to culture, to learning lessons. You're more likely to do stuff like this because hometown stigmatisms, it doesn't matter where you are in Ireland, doesn't matter where you are in the world, there is that hometown mentality and small town mentality that can kill people and crush your progression, crush your success. And that's so important, is taking that leap and actually saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to move abroad and I'm going to do something with myself. And that's the most important thing. So stop escaping reality, stop escaping reality. If you want to do something, do it. And don't be afraid to do it, because what have you got to lose at the end of the day? Realistically, like, what have you actually got to lose? And that's one thing that I always say to myself. We have nothing to lose. I'm 22 years of age. I'm living in Spain. I'm running a successful business. Can it be more successful? 100%. Fucking 1000% it can be way more successful. Can I be doing more? 100%. But it's just like, there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much things I can do, and the weather's good and everything else, but the fact I'm actually saying this to you right now, I'm actually talking to you. Believe it or not, Jerry, be like, oh, he's pretty fucking tired of it. No, I'm talking to you. The fact that I'm saying this now and putting it out there, you have to hold me to this as well. And that's what I'm going to ask from everybody who watches this. Hold me to that, because once you put your intentions out there and people start to hold you to them, you're going to be a lot more productive. So there's that. But plan for next week, we have the A Players Mastermind Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have paddle tomorrow, footy on Wednesday, paddle Thursday. But long story short, the fact the new industry that we're gone into, doing this other stuff, paddle and stuff, it's business. It's meeting up with the right people. It's networking with high-level entrepreneurs. And it's putting yourself in the right rooms, and that's the most important thing you can do. Put yourself in the right situations, and more likely than not, you're going to get a rub of the green. So yeah, this is probably a long one. I haven't even looked, but it's probably going to be about 12 minutes. But if you stuck around long enough, that was sweet. I'm just going to sit here, enjoy my coffee, and just listen to the crickets and stuff and read my diary. So there's that. But overall, good week, ready to attack the next one, and looking forward to next Sunday posting this. So yeah, let's get it.